What's cracking, my G's, my dogs, my brothers, my homies, my amigos, my fam, etc. So glad to see you guys back. Have you missed me? I bet you have. Yeah, I bet you have. Yeah, you have missed me. So in the previous video, I did the 10-minute challenge where I gave myself 10 minutes to create a drum and bass drop. The results were pure fucking fire. Actually, the results were pretty modest, let's be honest, but I got some concepts that I could build off of, and so I did. In this video, I'm going to take you guys through the process on how I was able to transform this concept into this full-fledged track. Shut up. Let's go. So the first thing I did was rearrange the bass pattern. There was some good synths in there, but the overall pattern was pretty bland. There were a lot of iterations and I tried adding some melodic basses in there as well, but I finally set with this basic pattern that I would later on refine and then polish. As you can see, I layered different synths on top of each other to create more full and characteristic bass sounds. Just layer it, bro. The next step for me was to refine the drum loop. I settled with 1 kick, 3 snares, and 1 clap combined on top of each other. Moving on to the percussion, I mostly just rearranged existing samples I already had. For example, I had this closed hi-hat that followed the same pattern as my synths, and I also added some rides, as well as a shuffle. You know, we always keeping it groovy. So once I had refurbished this basic 8-bar loop, it was time to start building the intro. I added this pitch down drop vocal first, and then I added a similar one after the drop in between my synths.
Shut up.
My intro is mainly based around this ARP loop I found online. It already had stuff like reverb on there, and so all I had to do was add an EQ to make space for other layers I would later add on, as well as 2 little dips here for the snares. As you can see, they're a mirror of the boost I gave on the snare channel. It's not a dynamic EQ, but it still makes the snares pop through a bit more. Also, please make sure to tune your intro samples to make sure that they are in key with your drop and the rest of your song. Please. Like seriously, I'm not joking. I wanted to tease the drop a bit, so I added a bounce of the drop synths and then made them slowly fade in with effects like delay, reverb, EQ automation. For the intro drums, I just took that 8-bar loop I made earlier and I recycled it, because, you know, we're all about recycling, save the planet. Aha! At this point, the intro was starting to take shape, but it needed more layers on layers on layers on layers on layers on layers. So I added this alchemy pluck. As you can see, it aligns with the chords of that ARP sample. And at the 10-second mark, when the drums kick in, the pattern speeds up a bit as well. For this fade out, just before the drop, I used Endless Smile by Data Life, basically for lazy shits like me who want a shortcut to adding reverb, echo, and other automation things to build tension. This plugin does all of that work for you. KrypteK seal of approval.
It's time for effects.
To accentuate transitions and build-ups, you have to add effects and white noises. I added stuff like this impact with a gator and delay and some reverb on there. And the other layers, I basically just took away the unwanted frequencies. Some samples already even had pre-made gate effects, so again, it's less work for me. On their own, without any drums or synths, these transitions should sound clean and seamless, so process them well. Then I did make some minor alterations to the drums, like adding this crash Crazy. And then I also added these reverse kicks and snares to accentuate that first hit on some sections. Basically, it makes some kicks and snares less unexpected and less dry. I wanted to add some more weight in the second part of the intro, so when the drum loop kicked in, I also added these
super fat 808s.
If you're wondering, these 808s came from Sublab. It's an amazing third-party plugin focused solely on the creation of sub basses and 808s like this one. Made some more alterations to the bass pattern, mainly just those little synths in between the main synths to give the whole pattern more bounce and make the whole pattern fuller. And then to lead them into the second half, I made them fade out using automation on EQ, reverb, and stuff like that. And then I made the basses fade back in the same way, kind of like a boomerang. In the second half, I used the same synths, but I altered the pattern a slight bit. Otherwise, it would just be a continuous 8-bar loop. You gotta keep adding those little unique things and differences to keep things interesting throughout the track. I also layered these crispy vocal chops on top for some extra bounce. Check, yeah. In between the synths, I wanted to add some unique effects or vocal samples, and at first I tried adding this lovely vocal. But you know, I'm a responsible adult, I kept things clean, so I went with this weird sound instead. I made it a bit less flat by adding a slight tape stop. Oh, and I also added this downward impact thingy in the second half. It goes from left to right with this tremolo plugin I put on it. It's a really cool effect. We're arriving at the final stages of the song. Once I had all my basses laid down, I bounced those basses into a single track and then imported that, added a shit ton of effects on it like camel crusher, chorus, this one's really important, EQ, some more random effects, sample delay to make it wider, and finally a slight sidechain to the kicks and snares. So then I had this. And this layer on top of the synths actually made them so much better. You can hear them getting wider and less flat sounding because of that chorus. It really gives them character and kind of volume. The final steps were just to adjust and fine-tune dynamic plugins in the bus channels and on the master and individual channels to make everything as crisp as can be. Enjoy this little montage I made with some clips from an event earlier this year. Yeah, this is the final product. Hope you enjoy.
Learn at it. Shut up.
So there you go. That is how I turned a small little idea into a full track. It's just a matter of continually changing things up, trying things out, layering, and you just gotta get into that flow state, you know? You gotta get things flowing, feel the flow, feel flowy and floaty. You just gotta write that flow and you should be good. Hope you guys enjoyed this video and I hope you learned something from it. If you actually want a deeper insight on how I process certain elements in my track specifically, or the different synthesizing techniques I use when making tracks or whatever, I actually have a Patreon page you can check out where I not only post exclusive tutorials every month, but I also post exclusive music, samples and presets, projects. I even give one-on-one classes. Give your boy a like if you enjoyed the video. Maybe tell a friend. It really helps out the channel. Also hit subscribe and that bell next to it to get my videos straight into your newsfeed. And that's all for me. I hope to see you guys back in the next video. KrypteK out.